Welcome back, everybody, to the Fifth Line Podcast. We are back, and we finally have some NHL hockey to discuss. It's been a very long time. This is episode 11, so we've gone 10 episodes with no hockey to discuss.
No actual games, like new games to talk about. Yeah.
So good job, everyone. Good job. Episode 11. But we're going to start off with some not NHL hockey. Some National Women's Hockey. So that's exciting. Yes, the league. The league, which I believe is it's only 6 teams, I believe. Correct?
Yeah. It's still only because Toronto was the 6th one, and there's a well, I don't know if that's why they named them that, but yes.
Toronto the 6th. But those teams are the Boston Pride, the Buffalo Buttes, the Connecticut Whale, the Metropolitan Riveters, the Minnesota Whitecaps, and the Toronto Six. And if you don't know what we're talking about, is the Isabel Cup tournament is going to be played from when is it? It's January 23rd, this Saturday?
It's January 23rd this Saturday, up until February 5th, I believe.
Yep.
And I think before like the semifinals and the finals, I guess regular season games, if you want to call it that, they end January 30th and the playoffs start January 31st.
Cool. And then all of the regular stuff, the regular season things, can be viewed on Twitch, twitch.tv/NWHL, which is cool because I can watch it for free.
Yeah, I think they've been doing that partnership. They've done it for at least a season. I think it might be 2.
Did they?
But they did that last season at least. But then the bigger news is obviously the semifinals and finals is going to be on NBC Sports Network, which, I mean, there's been CWHL games that have played pretty prominently on Canadian networks in the past, like the CWHL finals would always be on Sportsnet. But this is really the first like big national broadcast one has gotten in the US. So big thing for them. Hopefully it will get them a lot more just exposure. Audience. Like, people seeing that they are a thing. It's on national TV. So that'll be good.
And another cool thing, Ben, you'll be able to add to this. There's some former Cardinals from where we all went to school playing, I believe.
Yes, there's. I know there's.
I have
goalies.
There's a goalie on one of
the teams.
We have 2 names. Yeah, we have 2 names. Yep, we did some.
Brooke Waleko, on Connecticut, and then the only other one we had was
Kayla Mennigan. Kayla Mennigan on the Buttes She's the more notable one, I'd probably say. Like she was.
I know that name
Cardinal
more.
Program. I think she's like Cardinal program leading scorer, or if not, she's close. Like she was nuts. She was a really good forward to watch play when I covered them for. How many seasons did I cover them? 3? I don't know.
Would have been around that, yeah.
I think it was 2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a great player, and it's cool to see her. And she's gonna be on national TV this tournament, and it's just gonna be cool to get a chance to watch them because, like, I honestly haven't really tried the Twitch before, but it'd be cool to be able to just flip on TV, and women's hockey's there. I mean, it's just good for exposure.
And the more hockey you can get, the better. So.
Yeah, I'm never going to complain about any hockey games that are put on TV anymore ever again after not having it for so long.
Yeah. On to the NHL, boys.
First week down.
We finally have some games to talk about from each of our teams.
Yeah.
Who wants to start? Who wants to start it off? Ben, I think you're probably the most prepared, so let's go with you.
I did.
Let's hear about them Habs.
Some notes as I was watching the Habs games, and starting with the Leafs one. I think if they don't give them a 57-second long 5-on-3 at the end of the second period, and if a puck doesn't go off a ref after Drouin tries to wrap it around the boards, it's probably I mean, like, they lost. Yes,
those are bounces. Those are the bounces.
They are. That's what I'm saying. Like, they lost, but there was nothing in that game that like made me all that worried, if that makes sense. Like, they were playing well. They played with him the whole time, and then they shat the bed, and Weber shot a puck directly off the ice, like 3 seconds into a penalty kill, which they scored 2 on that. Which one of the power play goals they got, Edmondson's stick broke on the. Like, there was just so many little things. I was like, okay, they lost, yes, but I was fine with how they played because the most important thing was Suzuki and Anderson proved to have really quick chemistry, and Jonathan Drouin looks to be good Drouin this year. He had 3 assists in the first game alone and looked good. The 5-on-5 play was good, and Alexander Romanov looks awesome. That stretch pass to Tatar in the first game, just his overall
nice
play,
pass.
like there was several times where he was just out in like the last minute of a tied game against the Maple Leafs. Like Claude Julien seemed very confident in where he was putting him out, and he looked solid in both games. First game that looked bad was Edmondson. Looked like he looked like the defenseman that everybody was questioning why that contract happened this summer. He looked like that the first game. And Danault's OT breakaway was pretty sad as well. Just coming in, and he was at the end of like a 1.5 minute long shift. He just whiffed on the puck. He did like a deep Freddie out, and then just whiffed on the shot and missed on the breakaway. And then it was like a couple rushes later, Toronto scored. But overall, that game was mostly fine. So I was fine with that game, even though I definitely would have preferred a win. I was like, all right, they got some shitty bounces, and they probably won't give up a 1:57 long 5-on-3 in the next game. And then in the next game, they did give up, I think, 3 penalties to the Oilers. But in great news, they managed to kill off all 3 penalties against a team that was using McDavid and Draisaitl on their first unit each time. So I was pretty happy with the PK there. The nice thing was Edmondson actually looked somewhat usable in that second game. Like he looked much stronger in that second game. He only got burned by McDavid once, but I mean, they didn't even end up scoring on it, and lots of guys get burned by McDavid.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
But Jeff Petrie just continuing to be the amazing man he is. 2 goals. I love to see it every time. This man, the first goal, he puts the shot on net and like flies up into the air after Koskinen stops it. He bats it down with his hand, and he bats it across the crease and comes around the net and picks it up and puts it in. He essentially alley-ooped to himself for a hockey play.
I still don't.
Because you can direct the puck. You can
I
know.
I know it's not. Yeah, I know it's not a hand pass. Obviously, if it goes to yourself,
yeah.
I don't know how the frig. I don't know. I don't know how that happens.
It was luck, but it was just it was a really fun play. Jake Evans looked like he could be a really awesome option on the fourth line. He was getting put out killing penalties against Connor McDavid, and then he scored a goal on the penalty kill while Connor McDavid was on the he's a young rookie, but he was looking strong in every situation he was put into. Suzuki, Anderson, Drouin didn't have as strong of a game in that second game, but they still were getting chances. They were still in the play. They were still kind of there, but they didn't need to get all the goals because just the Habs top line from last year decided to come in. And this is the biggest thing is now the Habs have 2 legit lines that could be scoring at any time. They have Suzuki, Anderson, Drouin, and they have Tatar, Danault, Gallagher. They have 2. They've never had that. They didn't have that last year, really. They didn't have a strong second option. So if the top line was just not on that night, they were screwed. Now they have 2. And then if the one real bad through 2 was Toffoli and Armia, they're not looking awesome, which, hey, Toffoli's brand new to the team and he's getting used to his line mates. Sure, Armia's been here, but Kotkaniemi's looking pretty alone out there a lot of the time with those 2 guys. But I think that could fix itself. I'm confident that Toffoli and Armia are not bad players.
I didn't think Toffoli looked I watched the first game. I didn't think Toffoli looked awful, but
he didn't look too bad.
Look like Toffoli of the Kings days, that's for sure.
But in the Edmonton game, he was rough. He whiffed on 2 or 3 shots, and then there was just a play where it was coming in on a 2-on-1, and he took the pass when it was the Edmonton guy had I think already laid down, and then he passed anyway, and it went right into the Edmonton guy, and he could have had a shot. He was wide open for a shot. They signed him for his shot. He was signed to be a secondary scoring threat. So he'll get there as he gets more used to the team and his line mates. I'm confident. I hope. But that was of the Edmonton game. That was the one thing that wasn't awesome. But Carey looked fucking good in that Edmonton game. They won 5-1, and it really was first half hour was pretty dominant Habs wise, and then they definitely did sort of take gas off a little bit. But there was the biggest like tweet I saw that like rang the most true was I think from Kristen Island, who's a TSN guy in Montreal. And he was like, when's the last time Carey Price has played with a 4-goal cushion?
Yeah.
It hasn't happened in years. If you give Carey Price a 4-goal cushion, you're probably gonna be okay. It's like, I mean, anything can happen, but you'll probably be fine. But yeah, so I am overall quite happy with where the Habs are at. That Toronto game could have gone either way, and then Edmonton game looked awesome. So I don't have a lot bad to say.
That's always a good thing. Eric.
Oh.
How'd your Isles do, buddy?
Yeah, the Isles were. Sorry, Nick. Did you want to go?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I run this ship.
Yeah. So all right, yeah. So the Islanders, they've played 2 games so far. Both games were against the Rangers. And the season opener was, I mean, man, that it couldn't have gone any better. They beat the Rangers 4-0. Varlamov got a shutout, and Nelson, Lee, and Barzal all got on the board. Which, you know, those are the guys you're giving the big bucks to, so you want those guys to score. Those are probably the only, like, you know, like guys that come to mind in terms of offense for the Isles, in terms of big names, I guess.
That Barzal goal.
That Barzal goal. Yeah, I hope Tony DeAngelo's icing his ankles or something. Or, well, was really an ankle breaker.
He's got him in casts right now.
Yeah. But I guess so. The big things from the opener, the 4-0 win. So while the Isles dominated play, they're usually pretty stingy defensively, and great team effort, which is I know Trotz is big into buying into a system. But the Rangers took 8 penalties, which they just could never get any momentum, and the Isles seem to always have that momentum behind them. And they actually scored 2 power play goals, which is pretty big. As an Isles fan, last season their power play was successful 17% of the time. They were 24th in the NHL, so not so good. So it's good to see,
Still to the conference final.
The Habs were quite low as well, and they're actually got a good one so far this year. But
yeah, but. Yeah, no. So 2 of 8. Well, it's like okay. But it's something. I'm being my standards are pretty high for that. But just something. But I guess the biggest standouts on the power play. So Nelson scored the first goal. It was kind of a broken play. And he just tapped in the first goal of the season. And Anders Lee scored the second power play goal. But Noah Dobson, who the Isles are giving a decent amount of time to this season, he quarterbacked the Barzal power play unit in that first game, which is I'm pretty sure that's the number 1 unit. And he looks good. He looks confident. He got an assist on Lee's power play goal. So that was exciting to see, because when Boychuk had to retire because of that eye injury, you're kind of like, well, this is it. Dobson's coming in. Like, this is his shot. And he looks pretty good.
This is his moment.
Yes. And other than Barzell's, I guess his breaking DeAngelo's ankles there.
it's always nice to see.
Yeah. He had a good defensive game. He always creates havoc in the offensive zone. And he had one really nice. He stripped the puck from Fox, I believe, and got a nice breakaway, kind of going the other way. He didn't score on it, but it's always good to see that. Especially, I saw a tweet. I forget who it was from, but some of his line mates were joking. He was late to training camp, right? Because he had to sign his contract. And it's like, and they were saying, you missed the tough days, but then you see him skate out there. He's absolutely flying.
He's fine. He didn't need them.
Yeah.
He didn't need camp.
So, no. Yeah, well, I'm thankful he was there, though. But yeah, so that, I mean, perfect. You beat your rivals 4-0 in the first game. Like, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say there. And then the second game, ooh, yikes.
Oof indeed. Oof indeed.
That was not good.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, right, you expect a response from the Rangers, but it just, nothing went right. In warm-ups, Varlamov went down. Clutterbuck took a shot. I guess it hit him high, and we just found out. Actually, I think a couple hours ago. Arthur Staple. I think he's still for Newsday. He covers the Isles for Newsday. I'm pretty sure still. But he said it's a jaw injury, and we were talking about that, Mike. So I guess people thought it was a collarbone thing because it kind of hit him here. But I guess, like you said, it kind of ramped up and it could have
I
hit
think
him.
it ricocheted up and hit him in the jaw.
Yeah. So there's no timetable on that. And we got to see, because now we got to see the long-awaited debut of Ilya Sorokin, who I think he was a 6-time KHL All-Star. I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying about him in warm-up. So
holy shit,
ran the KHL.
Obviously not the NHL, but still like 6 times. So
6 times exactly. But he was kind of, it's like when you're not expecting, your NHL debut and you're just kind of thrown into it. That was like, we'll see how this goes. And the second shot of the game, I think, Buchnevich scored it. Went right under his arm and in, and it was kind of like, not an optimal start. That just killed all the momentum from the first game. Just kind of, it's like, your first goalie goes down. And Corey Schneider was the third string, or I guess the backup.
He did end up getting signed by them. I couldn't remember.
Well, I think
it was like
I think it was an emergency signing.
Yes,
like that day, wasn't it, or something?
I'm pretty sure it was.
So he must have been there.
Yes.
Must have been there already.
Yeah. And again, he has a relationship with Lou Lamoriello from his time with the Devils. He
also hasn't won a game in like I think 2 or 3 calendar years.
Yep. So the Islanders right now it's Ilya Sorokin and Corey Schneider. Very interesting.
I hope
what a duo.
Good for your sake.
Yeah.
But you didn't have such a good time.
But back to Sorokin though. So the game, it ended up being a 5-0 game. So the Rangers took 8 penalties in the first game. The Islanders now took 8 penalties in this game. So again, the momentum, just they couldn't generate anything offensively. The one positive out of that, they were 7 for 8 on the PK, and their PK usually is pretty good. Again, the Barry Trotz system kind of is another reason for that. But you're not going to generate anything if you take 8 penalties, and 5 of them were offensive zone minors. So, and Barry Trotz does not like that. He's always, especially with Barzal, anytime Barzal takes any penalties in the offensive zone, Trotz always gives him an earful. But Sorokin looked okay. He just looked like he didn't have a team with momentum or with any structure. It looked in front of him that night. That was not Islanders hockey by any means. So I hope he can rebound. The Islanders have some time off now. I think they play New Jersey and Boston in the coming days. That's it. But yeah, that was a brutal second game. But considering it's back and forth, the Rangers and the Islanders each shut each other out. That should be an interesting season series because they play each other 7 more times. So. Yeah, so and that's about it with the Isles. Very back and forth. So let's see what they do against the Bruins and the Devils. Oof.
Devils are low key, might be something this year, but that's a separate thing. They've looked decent in the first 2 games against the Bruins, but anyway.
I haven't even watched any of that because I've been too busy watching Nick's team, the Senators.
Right. Yeah. So. I don't know how I feel about him yet, though. The first game was obviously successful. They, everybody who the Sens needed to get going early got going. Like Shabbat had the first goal of the game, or the first goal for the Sens in the game off that 5-3 power play, which was an absolute snipe. And then from about after 10 minutes into the second period, they pretty much bodied Toronto the rest of that game. It was not good for them. They looked like shit. Senator, in my opinion, Toronto looked like shit the rest of that game. And then the Sens ended up winning 5-3, but I was looking at the game stats. I'm actually looking at them right now, and that game was very even. Like, shots on goals pretty much matched, face-offs pretty much matched. Power plays was heavy for was heavy for Toronto, but the rest of the game was pretty matched the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty happy about where they were after that game, but then when they went into game 2, not so much.
I wouldn't feel bad though.
Mainly because they were
yeah.
outshot 40-20, so their offense didn't really get going at all.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of.
mean,
I think that's
you're
more.
playing
But when you give
Toronto,
up 40 shots in a game, I can't expect Matt Murray to stop every single one of them. And they only lost 3-2.
I think
so
he's been a bright spot, especially.
He
in that
actually
game.
seems to be not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, at this
As
point right
last
now,
year would
everybody
suggest.
like Shabbat has points. Shabbat had his goal. Drake Batherson is really he's the one they're gonna have to watch out for. I think he's gonna do really good this year. They even have They got Josh Norris going in the first game. But the only thing I don't understand this. Like, they've benched Galley the last two games. I don't understand what's going on with that. Which leads me to have a little bit of concern that they might throw him on waivers because he's not doing anything. I don't understand it, and I think he's just floating on that taxi squad right now. But still, give him a shot in the first 2 games. Like, they benched Colin.
Yeah, he still perplexes me. Like, he cannot have fallen that much that fast.
To where he's being benched on the Sens team.
But they even did it with Colin White. They signed Colin White to a big contract last year, and then they didn't even have him play the first game of the season. Okay, I don't know. I know with Tampa they sat out Tyler Johnson for caps, a cap reason on their side, but the Sens aren't in a cap situation where they need to avoid. I don't know, but yeah,
talking about Eugene Melnick doesn't want to pay money.
Yeah,
that's not how that works, but
true that.
But yeah, so game 2, the shots on goal were 40-19, and Toronto obviously played a little bit better in that game after that. But they also had their backup goalie. They had Jack Campbell in because Freddie looked like absolute dog shit in that first game. So they're going to have a situation on their hands whether or not they're sticking with Freddie or going with him for the rest of the season because he didn't look good in the first game either.
I think, he was a little shaky on maybe 1 or 2 goals against the Habs. But, I know it's a short season, but I don't know if you'd pull the plug on Freddie after –
No, it's that. I mean, yeah, I agree. They're not going to just yank him and say, no, you're done. But they're going to, it's not something that they can just wait around on because
they'll take note of this for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. When's the trade deadlines? April, is it again? Or is it even earlier? It's probably earlier.
No, it's actually, I don't know.
Or no, because May is the start of the playoffs. So it's probably mid-April or something like that.
But the Sens don't play again until Tuesday, which they got a 3-game stretch against Winnipeg right there. So
3.
That'll be fun because Winnipeg's been looking pretty good.
3 straight against Winnipeg. Wow.
There's gonna be some 3 straights this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's weird, Nick? I mean, this podcast is gonna be really peaceful for a while because we're all in different divisions. But then, we're in the same division, Nick. But we're gonna have 2 more episodes. And then it'll be the 3rd one from now before we'll actually have any Ottawa Habs games. They're somehow not playing until February 4th. And then on February 7th, we're going to have an episode after a home and home. So we'll have something to talk about then. But
oh, yeah, there we go. So a rivalry. Yeah.
The rivalry. Fight. In real life.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, that's all I really got to say about them. They had obviously up and down first 2 games. The first one was shocking, as I'm sure anybody would agree with that. They're not.
You're talking to the man who expected the Senators
game
to make the playoffs. So
you did. You are talking to that guy.
Yeah. But they also had, I think Toronto had 3 or 4 shots on goal in the 3rd period, so you're never going to win a game.
It was 4.
Like Dangle said, you're never going to win a game with 4 shots. And
in the 3rd.
Playing Joe Thornton more minutes than fucking
Tavares,
yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're making some choices in Toronto.
Yeah, they're messing with stuff. They're messing with stuff. All right, so
anyway, that's all I got. So on to you, Mickey.
Oh, on to me.
Hey, what about Tampa?
Well, my Lightning, I can't really say anything because they've played the worst team in the Central Division, I think.
Yeah, they've only had 2 games against the Blackhawks.
Yeah, they've had 2 games against the Blackhawks, and that's it. So, they played pretty well, I think. They got a lot of goals.
I mean, like, yeah, they were blowing them out, so that's a good sign. You should be.
Um,
You should be.
I will say, so far, the Cooch hole is not noticeable.
The Cooch hole?
The
Can we
Cooch
go
hole.
with that?
Yes. the hole that Cooch has left is not noticeable. Not as noticeable as I thought it would be. Stamkos is fit right in there, nicely.
That's good. Stamkos fit nicely into the Cooch hole.
He does. But yeah, he's actually he's leading the team right now. 5 points. And the 2 games were 5-1 and then 5-2. And the 1 goal in the first game was BS.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why
It was
it
like
BS?
a dump down. They dumped it down the boards, and Strome went to grab it behind the net,
Yeah.
but he did it. He did it wrong, and the puck careened off his stick straight out, hit Chernak's skate, which went over in between Vasi's legs, off of his skate, and then into the net. And it was seriously, like, you got to go watch it because it was ridiculous.
Some pinball shit right there.
Nothing that happened was done on purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got to say. I can't really tell much from 2 games against Chicago with the Lightning. Obviously,
Next?
they're a far superior team. Well, it was supposed to be Dallas, but obviously we're not. Those
That's
games aren't
not
happening.
Yeah.
So it's actually this Thursday, and it's Columbus. So that may actually be a test.
Hey,
That may actually be a
interesting.
test.
Columbus does always seem to bring it against the Lightning.
They seem to enjoy playing the Lightning, and I do not enjoy it. But
Not a great thing in your eyes.
it's I get PTSD every time, man. No. But yeah, no. I'm happy so far.
I mean, yeah, I think overall, I mean, most of our teams have had. I mean, they're not bad. They're not amazing starts, but I mean, yours is pretty good, Mike. But they're all been at least good.
Expected, and it's expected.
It's expected. We'll see.
Pretty
Carolina,
lukewarm
Dallas.
first week.
Carolina, Dallas. When those games come on the calendar, I'll be maybe a little more
Yeah,
worried.
the Habs have 1 more against Edmonton, and then I think 2 in a row against Vancouver. Which Vancouver, I still don't know about. Like, I think that could be
It's all
some.
gonna depend on what Holtby does.
It really
Yeah.
does, because he looked pretty good in that first game against Edmonton that they won.
Yeah,
I was talking to Eric about this last night or the night before.
Yeah,
I was like, we got to remember 2 years ago, Holtby won the fucking cup with Washington. Like,
he did.
he might
I've
have had
never
a
been that
bad
on
year
board.
last year, but there's no way that he's fallen off in 2 years. You know, like
I've never been that on board with the idea that he's washed. Like, he very well could not ever return to form, but like, I think he could still be good. Like,
absolutely.
I don't think it's as clear cut as a lot of people do, but we shall see.
Also, I'd like to mention that Connor McDavid was so pissed after they held him off the score sheet that he filled up the score sheet in the next game. That was really
That
funny
is
to me.
true. So I'm hoping he won't do the same thing against the Habs tomorrow.
I hope he does.
You've awoken
Because-
the beast.
Guess who? Guess who? The only guy who got a goal was last night for the Oilers.
Oh. Is
Mike, you'll
Athens-
actually
is
know- you'll know
Athens-
the
it wasn't Draisaitl because
Is
Draisaitl
it,
had the accept as a new
is-
Hopkins.
No, not Nugent Hopkins.
Benny.
Anthony Thieu went to LA.
Is Nate Thompson there?
No. He's
to think
in
of-
Winnipeg. Nate
Yeah,
Thompson's in
yep,
Winnipeg.
He is.
Uh,
I'm trying to think of who could be there right now. Mike Smith.
Wait, Benny. Benny.
yes.
Are you talking
sir.
about the goal?
the
The
only
Edmonton-
goal the Oilers got? Yeah.
Wasn't that weird angle one off of
Yeah.
Carey's head? Yeah.
Yeah, he banked it in off Carey's head. Yeah.
It was some random dude, and I was like,
Oh, it was Cuckoo. It was Slater
Yeah,
Cuckoo. That's
Slater
right.
Cuckoo.
that's who it was.
Yeah, he of all the guys on the Oilers, the one goal Carey got scored on was
Slater
fucking
Cuckoo.
Slater.
Yeah, boy,
Cuckoo.
Slater Cuckoo.
banking it off his noggin.
Yep. Well, Evander Kane, boys.
I mean,
Wow.
him wanting to do that pay-per-view fight makes more
Makes
sense.
more sense. That's
we
exactly.
were just
that's
just
exactly-
talking about that.
Yep, that's exactly
Yeah.
what Eric said. He was like, "Well, that
Yep.
makes more sense
I
now."
was like, oh,
Yeah,
I
he needed
cannot
some
believe that.
cash.
I cannot believe this. I mean,
It's
I
bizarre
can, but I
too.
can't.
So I was talking
It's
with some people
not
that work
that
on this
uncommon.
one,
A lot
and it's
of
weird. So
pro-
like,
In
they
hockey, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
expect him, or he's expecting like, or not he, but like, there's some people that are expecting him to sit out this season, and they're like, well, how is that financially going to put him in a better position to pay back
I
the
was gonna say,
$25 million
wouldn't
he owes?
working to get
Well,
some money would be better.
So yeah, that was my thought too. But as I read into it a little bit, and it's essentially, so if you file for bankruptcy, you have to prove that you can't pay it back. So if he sits out the season, he foregoes a $7 million salary from the Sharks this season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially proving to the bank right there that, okay, now that he isn't getting paid for this season, he can't pay his loan back. Because for a while, up until I think late December, or maybe the beginning of this year, San Jose was paying the bank directly against some of his loans. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. That's
So you
rough.
know you're in a fucked up spot.
That is the definition of down bad.
But
Yeah.
all of these players do it the
Not
same way.
ideal.
So like all these NHL contracts, all these players want their money up front so that they can invest it in the stock market or invest it for futures, because more money, more cash now means more money later, essentially, if you do it the right way.
You run out of the
If you do
money.
it the right way.
But if you run into a situation like him, plus,
I don't think he was
Evander Kane
investing
has
it.
his own gambling debts from the past too. That, I mean, I'm sure you guys knew about that. He had, I don't
actually had no
remember
idea.
exactly what it is, but he got into a position where he owed some money from gambling debts at a point. I want to say it was like $7 million or something like that. But yeah, so I don't know. It's weird. But then the next day I read a report that he's, I think it was the Sharks coach said he's playing. They're expecting him to play.
Well, he
So-
played, so
So now that he's played, he's not going to be in that
he won't.
bankruptcy spot.
So
like
he's
I was
not.
just
So
talking about.
does that mean that he's not going to be able to file for bankruptcy then?
I don't know. So the Sharks owe him $50 million
He's just
across that
he's
contract.
he's
right?
in a spot.
Yeah. He's partway through that contract, correct?
And he's probably
Yeah.
been paid a large portion of that up front
Yeah. So like, how much
So-
is he actually going to get on this back half?
for the rest of it. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not
But
going to pretend
I
I know
remember-
anything about financials, so I'm just
I
going to
don't
sit
know
this
what he's
conversation
trying
out.
to do either, though. Like, there's two different ways he could have went with it. He could file for bankruptcy, and then essentially his debts are forgiven, because that's what I think it's Title IX bankruptcy does for you. Or you pay it back. Like, I remember watching the Michael Vick documentary. He owed like a ton of money to people when he came back from prison after his dogfighting prison stint.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to file for bankruptcy. He's like, I got myself into this position. I want to pay it back. So maybe Evander Kane's taking the high road and gonna settle his debts on his own. But I don't know. It's interesting.
He better start performing, because he's going to need another contract if he's going to pay that off.
Yeah.
That's right.
How do you
a
do
contract that
that?
gives him money, not a contract that's like, oh, here's a $2 million 1-year contract that'll get you through the next season. Yeah. He'll have to play till he's
That
50
much
if that's the
debt,
case.
though? I don't
I know,
fucking
that's
know.
what I'm thinking, Ben. Like,
What are you spending it on?
my
I mean, rich
days.
people have rich people things they buy. I can't fathom spending that much money in that short of time. What do you have to buy?
Well, yeah, what are you buying? I mean, if it's gambling, then he's just gambling it away.
There is that,
But
which
like,
But if
oh
he's-
my
if
God,
they're
that's a
talking
lot.
That they're paying, if they're talking about like San Jose directly paying the bank, then it's a loan against him. Whether or not it's that high of a loan that he took out against his contract with San
assets.
Jose, I don't know. But if he's buying property, like I want to say real estate investment is, I think, one of the big things that sports athletes get into, because they have so much money, and what the fuck are they going to spend it on? So maybe he bought a bunch of property. Maybe he bought something for
Actually,
his families, or
I think I remember. Yeah,
But the really fucked up thing about this is,
is
yeah, and the really fucked up thing about it is that he has a brand new child too. So
I saw that.
let's just hope. And I don't remember who said this. It was on one of the commentaries for the games the other night, the first night game or night one, and they were like, let's just hope that he set some money aside for his daughter, for her future, because man, that if he's really got to fight himself out of a 25, or it's not 25, it's more like $27 million hole.
Yeah.
He's
Good
not
luck.
in the best spot.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can figure something out. I hope it goes better for him going forward. But how do you get yourself there?
You gotta love blackjack.
Yeah.
You gotta love spending money more than you love saving.
Making it.
Like, I'd rather see my bank account say $25 million than me have a debt against myself for $25 million.
Minus 25. Yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah.
Don't like do NHL agents too like keep track of like his agent or whatever is like, hey, like buddy, why are you spending this much money, or like what?
I imagine it depends on the agent relationship. I'm sure some are probably better or some are more strict. I don't know. I remember Brian Burke was saying that in like that appearance he did on Steve Dangle was when he was a player agent, that he like was hella strict with the players he like started working for.
Like you could only spend so much.
Yeah.
I mean, then otherwise you get yourself into a financial situation like you're.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like
because that these guys are millionaires, so they're getting taxed at such a heavier tax bracket than like normal people. So they're paying a bunch of money against that because you make it millions of dollars annual salary, you're getting taxed very heavily.
Yep.
Pro sports players blowing their big contract is not that uncommon of a thing. It's just you don't really see it as much in hockey, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
this is the first time I've seen anything like that.
I mean, does anybody remember like there's a picture that goes around Twitter. I've seen it a handful of different times where Mark Cuban walks up to Delonte West on the side of the street because he's homeless now. Well, Delonte West was he played for Cleveland for in the beginning years that LeBron broke into the league. So he was obviously good enough to be an NBA fucking forward or shooting guard, and then he just spends all his money and he's homeless. So like,
that's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Closest thing I can think in hockey that I can remember other than this was Jack Johnson filed for bankruptcy a few years back after
Did he really?
He had his parents managing his money, I think, and they like fucked it all to hell.
Oh
like,
dear.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad, no.
He never grew up. His mom still owns his bank accounts.
Well, no, that's one of the things. I know, like I like to joke about Jack Johnson all the time, but yeah, I always remember that was like a weird niche little thing that came out. It didn't get too much attention either, but
Not
Jack
really,
Johnson.
no.
Yeah, Jack Johnson was like, so probably went through a lot of personal shit. I hope he's, I mean, like, he's still playing in the NHL right now, but that was one of those weird
your money,
things.
y'all.
Yeah.
I know what they're doing.
Evander Kane, yeah.
Good luck, buddy.
Good luck.
You might want to hire somebody to do that.
Yeah.
Going forward.
So this, I just kind of wanted to mention this just because it seems odd. And we actually had we saw a little quote, me and Eric, about, I don't know, an hour ago or so. Toronto placed Spezza on waivers, and then Spezza is quoted, I forget what the tweet was, but he was quoted saying, if he gets picked up by anybody else off waivers, he's just going to retire.
Which is why I think anybody in the Canadian division should pick him up.
Because
I think that's a good idea.
He doesn't get picked up off waivers. He gets put on, from what I saw, he gets put on Toronto's taxi squad.
Yeah, I think that's what
he'll stay on the
team.
Right
so he'll still be with the team. But
take him away from him.
What if you don't want Toronto to have? I mean, no general manager is going to do that. But what if you don't want Toronto to have? Yeah, but
it would be pretty cool.
They're not going to do it.
Pierre Dorian, go pick him up and have him captain the Senators for the one last
That's what
season.
I was wondering. Why doesn't he want to go back, man? Go back, a fun young team. Could have a blast.
I don't think he ever wanted to leave, and then he got dealt to Dallas.
I also think that, like, if somebody did grab him, who knows if he actually would just retire? Like, if somebody actually did it, maybe he's just like, yeah, don't do it, or else, nah, just so like he doesn't have to move. And then if somebody picks him up, it's like, all right, well,
I guess I'm playing.
Oh man, I got to make $1 million and play hockey. Fuck.
Yeah, but
that sounds easy.
Yeah, why wouldn't you if you're another team then? Just so Toronto doesn't have him. Like, fuck Toronto. You're in a division with 6 other teams. And if you can get any little like tiny thing over, like, yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, I don't think anybody is going to, because NHL and like respect the veteran or whatever. But like And to a degree, I get that. You probably don't want a guy who has a family or whatever that's already moved into Toronto. You don't want to have to make a move in a pandemic.
That would
But
suck.
also,
they like to win, and he's no slouch. I mean, he's not a game breaker, but like he still
Toronto
does pretty
would
good
be
things.
not as good if they didn't have him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They'd have to put
Spezza
old
is
Joe on the fourth
very
line.
much still serviceable.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He had a couple, like his last season in Dallas wasn't anything great, but like, he's no slouch and he can play still.
Yep.
I put him on the third line any day.
He can be on the first line for the Sens. Come on.
I mean, he could.
No way. The Sens are better than that, I think.
So hopefully by next epi, we'll see what happens with that. Maybe someone will pick him up.
I agree. I tend to agree with Ben on this one. I think he's gonna just end up back in Toronto.
Yeah. Probably. But it'd be fun if not. It would be really fun. Like, come on,
it would be.
Come on, I want to see NHL GMs start to just do shit. Like,
just do things.
Fuck it. Like, yeah, because every NHL GM is so hesitant to try anything other than like the same three things they always try. Sign a guy for way too much at the free agent day. Give up way too many futures for a halfway decent rental at the trade deadline, or make big brain moves in the summer that work about half the time. That's the three things that NHL GMs do. They never try anything. Do fun shit. I don't care.
Maybe someone will.
Opportunity. Let's fuck over Toronto. Let's pick up this guy so they can't have him. I would love to see it too. I mean, Christ, he's staying in the. If he gets picked up by one of the Canadian teams, he's still in division. He can play right off. It's not like he has to go quarantine or anything because he's in that conference.
Actually, I'll amend what I was saying. I would maybe think if Ottawa does it, he might actually play because one, familiarity, be like, okay, cool, returning, and two, Ottawa and Toronto are right next to each other.
Yeah,
so if he gets taken by them, what is he gonna say? Like, oh, I can't drive an hour.
Yeah. Man, I gotta be honest. I would love to see him back in a Sens uniform.
That'd be fun.
I'm not even a fan of that team, but that would be really cool because that's one of the guys I remember when I was growing up watching hockey because he was their stud.
Yeah, he scored a lot of goals on the Habs. He scored a lot of goals on the Habs as a Senator.
Also, it's kind of interesting, right? The Sens unveil their old school, the 2D logo is back, right? So bring Spezza back with it. Bring Spezza back with it. Come on, yeah.
Seeing Spezza and that old stuff.
Pierre Dorian, if you're watching this, go get him, please.
Yeah, go get him.
He's listening with bated breath.
Come on,
also,
Pierre.
to Benny's point about NHL GMs, like do shit, have fun. If Hockey Twitter was an NHL GM, Spezza would be picked up instant. Yeah, they would be like, "Fuck the Leafs." Oh my god, yeah,
it would be
like instantaneously.
I'm also just full team chaos, so
that's fair.
Just go for it.
Yes, and Hoffman got signed, which is nice, and he got way more than I thought he was going to. $4 million for 1 year from St. Louis.
He was definitely thinking he was going to be signing more than a 1-year deal before this offseason.
Absolutely.
$4 million? They gave him $4 million.
I know, that's surprising.
Yeah, how did they have space for that?
How does anybody other than Ottawa and Detroit have space for that?
I thought they gave him the PTO because they didn't have much. Like it was a cap move, right? And now they're giving him $4 million. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, they gave him the PTO.
They actually still have $4.9 million in space.
Oh, they do. Oh, okay.
Who did they put? I think it might be because Tarasenko is on LTIR.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he is $7.5 million. So Alexander Steen is also. Didn't he retire though?
He retired.
Yeah, he retired.
I guess he retired, but he's like one of those ones where he I retired because I'm too injured to keep going, so they get to throw it on the LTIR and not have it count against the cap.
Yeah.
I think he was actually, it looks like he was old enough where if he was not injured, if he just decided to retire, it would have counted against the cap. I'm not.
Before we move on to the next thing, speaking about signing off-season contracts, I did see something from Anthony Duclair. I want to say it was this week. He was talking about him signing that contract that he did. Where was it? Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, he basically denied there ever being a 3-year
A big
contract with the Senators. He's like, if I would have got basically him saying, if I would have gotten that, I'm not dumb. I would have taken it. Like, he came off of a $750,000 contract the season before. If he's going to get offered a 3-year contract for a couple million, he's not that stupid. He's going to take it. So he basically denied there ever being a that big of a Sens offer on the table. I think he said it was a 1 or 2 years contract that he had offered to him, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it was that much money either. I think it was like 1.5 to 2 or something like that. But yeah, NBC has replaced Mike Milbury with another Mike Babcock. I don't know about this.
I don't think he's gonna be a good analyst. Like, have you ever heard Mike Babcock talk? It's not.
It's
good.
He's such a dick.
It's very unanimated.
He's like, he just talks like this, so to come to the first intermission, they were really flying out there, dumping them in, and they were looking good. Yeah. This what you want to hear at NBC? Is that?
Welcome to NBC.
I'm not gonna lie. If it's not Mike Milbury, though,
like honestly,
but that bar is so low.
I'm so happy that Mike Milbury is gone, and I don't think Mike Babcock is going to be like.
No.
He's not going to be like, I don't think he's going to be horrendous, but I also don't think there's going to be any part of him that's going to he doesn't seem like the person. I could be proven very wrong. Maybe he rolls in to his first broadcast, or maybe that's already happened by now, but maybe he's got all the one-liners in the world and he's the funniest maybe he's great, but there's nothing about him that makes me think, oh yeah, that's who I want breaking down the game between
yeah.
I don't know.
Especially after the whole what was the whole thing with when was that 2 seasons
I don't
ago?
really want to get it. No, it was over. You're talking about his thing that he did. It was in the bubble playoffs is when NBC removed him.
Oh no.
No,
I'm talking about when Babcock. Yeah, the whole oh man, that was what,
essentially
2 seasons ago?
he went to Marner and was make a list of the hardest working to least hardworking to least hardworking to hardest working and on the team, and then he made the list, and then I think the story was Babcock brought in the 2 or 3 guys that were at the top and showed them that, oh yeah, Mitch wrote this or whatever, or something along these lines. Just played some really weird fucking mind games. That's why you ain't got to do that.
What's the point of that?
I don't see how you think that helps, but
I know. Well, that's the thing though. If he that's a weird thing. I don't want if he I guess all the success if he does well broadcasting, but man, that's just a weird thing to I don't know. It's one of those NHL things, right? It's such it's a tight knit thing, and it's oh yeah, Mike Babcock, we'll give him a shot. Because it's Mike Babcock. I know that wasn't an exact raise your bar. Yeah, raise your bar. Granted, I'm saying this without. I don't know who else you'd bring in, but Mike Milbury. If your bar is here and it's Mike Milbury, raise it hot. No, don't just go.
Could find any more interesting younger any person.
Pierre Maguire.
No, not him. He's already there.
Pierre.
No, you want to know who you bring in? You bring in Ryan Callahan.
There we go.
Who has also joined the analyst desk as per that picture that Nick showed us.
He seems like a personable enough guy.
I think he'll do great.
Yeah, every interactions I've seen with him in interviews and stuff, he seems like he's at least he seems like he could break it down and sound somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
I think he'll do good for hockey commentators. That's a lot.
Sound mildly interesting. Does a good job with it too.
I actually really like Patrick Sharp. He's been low key one of my favorites on the.
What was the comment for a while that we talked about last night with Patrick Sharp? The woman said something to him about I think it was Thornton or who. You even remember what it was?
They were analyzing things, and then whoever the woman was that was.
She was talking about an older player, right?
Yeah, and she said something to the effect of, well, he's doing better than you now, or something like that. Yeah, and we were looking at each other whoa.
What? Did you take a shot at Patrick Sharp?
I mean, maybe they're probably close. They probably have their own
Hopefully.
I hope so too. Because me and Mike are who is she to talk shit to Patrick Sharp?
That's
who was
mean.
a very good player.
Not well, yeah. I was gonna say it's 3-time cup, right?
I
3-time
gotta-
cup champion, Patrick Sharp.
I think it might. I
I
don't know
Two?
if he
Is
was
it
he there
two?
for the last one?
He didn't.
Regardless, he's a cup
he's
champion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
If I had to
Plus-
guess, they probably just do a lot of games together and like she's just
I'm sure
razzing
they
him.
do.
But yeah, that's
I'm-
kind of funny.
Plus, he's hot.
Yeah, that man's jawline.
That's a good looking
cut
dude right there.
fucking diamond, my man.
He does not skip jaw day.
And he is 3-time Stanley Cup champion.
Three-time. Okay, he
Ooh,
was around
Eric
for
was
all
right.
three.
Patrick Sharp.
All right.
Nice, nice.
Wow.
I
nice.
think right after that last cup win is when he got shipped
That
off
was
to
when he went
Dallas.
to Dallas. Okay.
So that's the
Which
question,
he
right?
played
How did,
good there too.
How
He
did,
He did.
That
How
that
did-
one
yeah.
season when they had Patrick Sharp and Raju right when they stole him from Montreal.
Yeah, I
they
think
had,
dude,
they had a killer
he
team
went
that
off.
year.
They had
It was-
a good line
It was
together,
the it was the Sharp, Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin line, and my dad had all three of them.
yeah.
My dad had all three of
and
them
he
in
just
fantasy.
demolished
And
fantasy.
he
I
wrecked
remember that year.
everybody, and I was like, "This
Yeah.
is dumb."
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that was
Um,
pretty bad.
Now some exciting news. Something that I'm surprised didn't happen earlier, but I'm also not surprised at the same time. Willie O'Ree's number, if you don't know, he is the first African American to ever play in the National Hockey League. He played with Boston. And his number 22 will be retired up into the rafters of Titty Garden.
Titty.
Yep. Titty guard.
Good for Boston.
But
I
it's,
feel like-
it's good, yeah.
Probably, yeah. It probably could have happened before now, but good that it is happening now. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy if you do look at. I saw the prompt should be a Jackie Robinson Day, like in the like a version of that in the NHL. I'm kind of shocked there hasn't been at least some more around that. Like I feel like I remember around
So
like
Boston has done it. Boston this year will have their second annual Willie O'Ree Day.
right.
I don't remember when they said it popped up on the screen when we were watching the game
Right.
yesterday. And
And I feel like
and Mike made a comment to me. He's like, "See, they already do it." And I'm thinking to myself,
I think it's just
good for Boston for doing it. I want to see the whole league do something.
it
You know,
could probably be. I feel like the reason why you see it happen so much faster with baseball with Jackie because he was a star. Like
Yeah, he was
he was
nuts.
Tony Brooke carrier, and then he was
he was like the
amazing.
baseball, like
for a long time. But I still think it's worth just for Jackie Robinson because also he was half blind and played hockey as the
Yeah.
like he
That's
like
true.
he should have something league wide. I think that's just an easy thing to do. Like just have a day for that to
So
be on.
so Jackie Robinson Day is league wide. I literally have no idea. I've never watched baseball.
So like, you know, what is it? Yeah, Jackie Robinson is league wide, and also there's a thing with like Mariano Rivera too. Like, people don't wear 42. I think 42 is retired by every team as well. I think
Oh, like
maybe I'm wrong on that. I feel like I'm
like
wrong,
a
but
99
there's something.
retired
Yeah,
Gretzky.
I think there's something with Moa, and I don't remember exactly. So like the teams could do something like that and just retire his number across every team. You don't have to have a remembrance day for him
I mean-
necessarily, unless you want to. Like it would be cool to see it because why
I thought,
not?
don't they generally like all wear like 42 for the warm ups for Jackie Robinson Day and like they make a thing of it all the games? Isn't that the main thing?
Sorry, I'm going to correct myself on Mariano Rivera. Mo was the only person wearing 42 left in the league,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because
and once he retired, he was the last person wearing it.
I see.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, well, and I guess, yeah, so what the NHL so far with that, we before we were looking at before Florida's playing Chicago right now, and the Panthers have the I think
that
stickers
all
on their
teams are
helmets.
doing the
Yeah.
stickers,
Those
yeah,
stickers.
Yeah.
they're-
So that's what we got so far.
some
Stickers
ice,
on helmets.
some on ice graphics too. I think that are getting painted like onto the ice for
Okay.
a amount of time. I
For
don't know how
Boston?
it's all working. No, I think around the league,
Painted on ice?
like just under, not
Just
on
under
it,
a
like
layer?
under it, like how they always have Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh,
under-
yeah.
like that every year. Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's good they're kind of coming around on it. But yeah,
Yeah.
Good things to see. And that's crazy that he played NHL hockey with one working eye.
yeah. The doctors were like, "You're you're never gonna play again." And I think the line he said in an interview once, he was like, "Well, I mean, I can still see, so I'm gonna keep going."
That's
So-
such a
Very
hockey
good.
player response too. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Mark Stone has been named the first captain for the Vegas Golden Knights, which is cool.
Which honestly makes sense
It does. Who else would it be?
because, like, I don't
Petro,
think you
but
need
he
to
just
try
got
to
there.
Pacioretty captain
Oh my God.
experiment again.
it
Petro,
could've been
they
Patch.
weren't gonna. I don't know. I think Patch works better when he is allowed to just be
Oh.
a part of the team. Like he functions a lot better as a player if he can just be like another threat. He's
Mhm.
not best at being the best or like leading by example.
Okay.
He's good when he. That's my experience
When
with
he
him.
does
He
his
also
own thing.
was. He also was rather unfairly treated by most of the Habs fan base. A lot of the time he was in Montreal, but like I did see some of that in that he was a lot better when which was very rare. It was very rarely was he ever not the main threat. Like they depended on him so much to be the main threat every year, when that's not really his role.
It's
But
not his shtick.
cool for Mark Stone.
Yep.
Also, that's kind of
Too
crazy.
bad
when you think about it.
Ottawa couldn't have done that with him.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well,
I
so
still don't understand why they got rid of him. Like there was no need.
You
Stone's
tell me
good
why they
enough-
got rid of 3/4 of the players they got rid of. You know,
I mean, yeah.
try and
Stone's
please explain.
Stone's good enough to be the captain or the captain of the Knights, right? And then the Knights have Pacioretty, who used to be a captain,
Mhm.
Alex Pietrangelo, who used to be a captain. What other used to be captains are on the Knights? That has me thinking.
Are there others?
Are there others? Maybe-
we'd have,
maybe
to, we'd have to
that's-
go. We'd have to go in depth on the roster
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that'll be.
Start
yeah.
naming a few big nights.
William Carlson. That's definitely not one.
yeah.
Say Wild Bill.
He's too young.
No, not William Carlson.
Defense. Who else they got on defense between?
Yeah,
besides
yeah.
Petro?
don't
Shea
think they-
Theodore, but
I
nah.
don't think they have any other captains.
Yeah, so that's all right. That's it.
Ryan Reeves.
He definitely hasn't been a captain.
Big C on Reeves.
Alex Tuck.
No.
No, okay.
Yeah, I don't see any on here that could be.
Okay.
No, I think that's it. I think it's just those
Yeah.
three.
Yeah, great choice there for Stone. Yeah, great.
Good things,
Def
good
talk
things.
about it. Someone who leads by example. That's definitely your guy.
Do you have any feelings about Mark Stone there, Nicholas?
I always really liked him. I wish Ottawa would have never gotten rid of him.
Feel like
But,
you're
yeah,
probably the majority of your fan base there.
Good for him. You know.
Dude,
Yeah.
remember? Dude,
It's good for him, and it looks super shitty for the whole Ottawa office. Fucking take him for nothing.
He's just like
Yes, but
he
you have
has just ran the show both their last two playoff runs too. Like he has been
he's good.
friggin' good. Like it's not good. I don't. It's
You know,
still
Ottawa
it was not
won
a good
the
trade.
Carlson trade.
I was
Did
gonna
not
say, you
win
know
the
what the
Mark
front
Stone
office is
trade.
happy about? The Carlson trade.
They came around and did okay on that. Yeah, that ended up being not so bad.
So here's something
would've
funny
thought,
about
but-
Ottawa with that Carlson trade. I believe Nick Paul came over from San Jose, or he came to Ottawa through that Carlson trade. So Ottawa had him for that first season, got rid of him. Didn't play there in last year's season, and then brought him back again this year. And now he looks like a completely different player. Completely
Interesting.
different player, because he had a goal last night against Toronto.
Yeah, right.
So,
They're not playing in the same division this year, Nicholas. It's
which
the
I'm glad
Atlantic.
about. I'm very much
Yeah.
glad about that.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll
Scary.
see each other in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh my God! Imagine it
That
would.
not
I
be
Hot
wonder.
the
take.
finals.
That's something I've been thinking about. Is I wonder when we get to that Final Four, which divisions will be playing each other. You know what I mean?
There's a very
Yeah.
there's a fairly solid chance we're gonna get like an all East or all West conference like cup final, like the
Yeah.
old East and
Yeah.
West,
Oh,
what
absolutely.
they're gonna be going right back to after this year.
Yeah.
There's a solid chance of that. I'm still crossing my fingers for a Montreal Boston Cup final because, well, fuck yeah, but that would be amazing. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that would be amazing.
Early
Yeah.
season prediction, boys. Based off of nights
Oh.
1 through 3 for these teams. Who are you
Yeah.
taking?
Based off 2 games per team,
Who are
basically.
we, who are
Maybe
we picking
3
for
some
what?
of
The
them.
cup?
Sure. I mean, you can't even make an argument out of the East Division because fucking Dallas hasn't even played yet.
They're in the Central, and and yeah.
I think this is a very dumb time to make
This
predictions.
is a dumb, and you know what? It's the perfect time to do it.
You know what? I'm gonna go. I just because I want them
Name
to
your
win.
final four.
I just
The
want the
final
Avs to
four.
win. Can the Avs please win the cup? That'd be nice.
Dude, they looked so ass on the first game, the first night,
But then,
just decided to fucking
and
dunk.
then they just flipped it
They
around.
just- yeah.
Oh my
they're just-
God, we were watching that game and it was just
Yeah.
like goal. 2 minutes later,
goal.
goal.
Yeah,
Goal.
insane.
Landeskog,
Yes.
goal.
Yes, so
Ryan,
many-
goal.
so many
We're like,
fantasy
what in the
points for me.
fuck is happening?
Okay, let's say, give me your final four for the playoffs.
Final four. So
Edmonton, Colorado.
Basically, your division winners.
Yeah.
all right, okay.
I'll say Edmonton, Colorado, Tampa, and which division am I missing? The
East.
East one, right?
The Mass Mutual
Yep.
East.
Mass Mutual. There we go, buddy. The Honda East.
Not sponsored.
I
Not
don't know.
sponsored.
That division looks like shit.
That's the hardest one to pick, I think. You know who I would pick for that though, right now, based on what I've
Boston.
seen? Philly.
No, watch. Oh yeah, Philly.
Okay.
Philly's who I'd pick out of that division. They looked.
Okay.
They kind of trounced Pittsburgh both games.
All right, who's up next? Top four.
Yeah.
I'll go. So I'd take Philly out of the East, Tampa out of the Central. I think I'd go Golden Knights in the West.
Okay.
And then, man, the Canada division's hard too. I'd say Edmonton too. Despite them getting tallywhacked by the Canadians, I think they'll figure it out.
I will say, outside of it was like there's always the argument of outside of McDavid, Draisaitl, they're not much in the forwards.
Yeah.
But when I heard that Zach Cassian was going to be out of that game for it was the birth of his child, he missed that game last night, and in his replacement on the first line was going to be Josh Archibald. I just heard that and I'm like, ooh, that like.
Could have bumped
They-
somebody up, eh?
I'd like no, because like you look around at the rest of their lines and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's not really who else are you gonna be like? They're all about Josh Archibald level. Once you get past
All right.
Kyle Turris,
Kyle Turris, but then they wanted him. I think they had
third line center.
David, Draisaitl, Turris as their centers,
Yeah, he's
which
a center.
admittedly is a good little bit there.
They're nice down the middle, yeah.
They started to get it back after the Habs had kind of built their cushion, but like they just did not. The Habs ran their show until they got a comfy lead, and then they gave up some chances after, and then there was a few penalties. They took way too many penalties for my taste. You shouldn't take that many penalties against the Edmonton Oilers, but like I don't know, Edmonton. They weren't as like they lost to Vancouver too, 5-3.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. They're an interesting spot.
So who? Wait. So all right. So Mike, you gave your four, right? So
Yeah.
Benny.
So who are your
I-
picks then?
Actually, oh yeah, no. I said the Avs, but yeah, I got to give. Okay. So the Avs are my central. Oh no, it's my West. Oh yeah, my West. I'm gonna go for the North. I'm gonna go Calgary. That's gonna be my pick. I'm banking a lot of that on Markstrom though, just having a really good season. So Calgary, Colorado, Tampa, and it's tough.
Tough
I want
one.
to. I know. I'm gonna say my Isles just for fun. Why not? Maybe they'll pull something off.
What a
That's such a
homer.
tough. Yeah, literally a homer. But yeah. So yeah, that'll be me across the board. I'll stick with my team. I'll stick with my team on that.
All right, Benny, let's hear it, bud. Based on these first couple games.
Continuing the homerism.
Oh Jesus.
There is not a single part about the Habs 2 games they played that made me have any doubts. They're going to be the Canadian division winner. I'm saying that right now.
All right.
With complete confidence.
I like it.
He's got this shit-eating grin on his face.
It's totally going to happen, guys. Habs are top team in the Canadian division. They're going to be the Final Four. And then This is gonna be weird, I think. No, is it? I'm gonna go with.
I don't know.
Nah, I'm just gonna go with Colorado in the West because that's the easy one.
It is the easy one.
In the Central, yeah, Tampa. I keep looking at this division and I don't see any way Tampa doesn't steamroll it.
There's really no way unless Columbus pulls their Columbusness.
I mean, Dallas could still be something, although
They could
starting
be.
your season off with delays based on COVID, not a great start.
Now every single off day they just were gonna get is now taken up with another game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've
lost the whole first 2
crunched
weeks of
their
the season.
schedule even more together.
Florida, I'm not convinced is going to be terrible. I think they might actually finally do something, but I don't think they're going to be the final.
They're
team.
winning.
It's
They're
going to be
winning 3-2 right now. So as you
against
said.
who?
Chicago. Yeah. So-
Well, okay.
Chicago's gonna suck if they have to deal with freaking playing Malcolm Subban all season long. That's gonna
Yeah,
be
I don't know
rough.
how they went into this
He
season.
played so bad that first
Malcolm
game.
Subban and Connor Delia as like
Delia's not been bad.
It's so
Yeah,
funny
he's-
because I saw a clip or a graphic up on the game the other night, and it was how their salary for goalies has changed over the last 2 years, and it went from being $11 million between Renner and Crawford.
Yeah,
right?
Leonard and Crawford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's Malcolm. Now it's down to 1 million between
it's
Malcolm
like $1.5
Subban and
million or
their other
something.
fucking guy.
But yeah,
It's
so
nuts.
Tampa in the Central. In the East, I'm gonna have to echo you, Michael, and say Philadelphia.
Dude, they look good.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do it. I also am. I'm gonna say I further believe my thought that Pittsburgh's not gonna make the playoffs this year.
I also
Yeah,
had
we were
them
just-
out, so
We were just talking about that. Yeah, their first win of the season is a shootout victory
Yeah.
against the
was
Capitals.
a barely win. It was like a half win
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
In the shootout.
And Philadelphia had no problem with them both times.
No.
Granted, Philadelphia is good, but
I think the real test is going to be Philly and Washington. I think those are the two top spots there. So I think,
Washington still looks strong.
I
Yeah,
think when those two get together, we'll get to see more accurately. who-
Washington did only their 2 wins came from 2 games against the Sabres. So,
True. And the
I don't
Sabres got 4 on them in the first game.
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
weird. I'm not convinced the Sabres are going to suck this year either.
I'm hoping they're okay. Gosh,
They need to be okay at some point.
be okay. Well, they still have Carter Hutton starting. Like, get a
It's-
goalie.
Yeah, you're not going to do anything if that's your plan. It's not going to happen. At least from everything we've seen so far. Who knows? Carter Hutton might
Maybe
decide
it
to
comes
just
out of
go
nowhere. Yeah.
full Vesna this year, and
I doubt it. I very much doubt it.
yeah, same.
Yeah. So all right. So we gotta hear from Nick, right? That's everybody.
No,
so
I went
far.
first.
He
Oh,
went
you
first.
did
went
go.
first,
Okay,
yeah.
you did go. First.
See, look at that.
Oh,
Eric
there we
was
go.
not listening to. He did not care.
It's just like SDP when they left Jesse out.
No, I was.
It was really sad.
We went on a
I
few.
felt so bad
tangents.
for him.
We went on a few tangents there. I was making sure everybody got to say their pick.
All right.
Sorry,
Oh,
there,
God.
we're gonna skip what was next because it doesn't matter. How's our fantasy looking, boys? That's the real question. Unfortunately, Eric.
I-
is
Yeah,
not.
I'm not-
Is not gonna
I
be able
am
to join
being
in
left
much on
out of
this one.
this. Yeah, I am being left
So-
out, but it was my choice.
Right now, they're looking pretty good for us 3. But I
Yeah.
just made a
Yeah.
massive oopsie.
Massive
I'll tell
oopsie.
everybody who's following. I have some guys on my watch list, and last night I'm sitting there clearing off my watch list, and let me just say this: I drafted Jordan Binnington, and he was one person I put on my watch list before we had our draft. Well, I go and click to take him off my watch list, and it says, "Do you want to release player?" And I'm like, not thinking about it, I said yes. I thought it just said, "Do you want to remove player?" I thought it was just saying, "Do you want to remove your player from your watch list?" Essentially, no. And then it says, and then I'm thinking, why did it just say release player? And I'm like, motherfucker. So I went and looked at my team, and I'm like, yep, I just dropped him. And I tried to pick him up, and it says, you can't pick this player up until he's cleared waivers. And I just get told before the show starts that Mike's girlfriend Danielle picked him up off waivers.
He still displays as available, and I am first in the waiver order.
I was gonna say I don't know which order, or I guess does it say it
says
on
it in
here?
the standings.
But
yeah.
I will say this: he looked like
Oh, I'm
absolute
too.
shit his first game. That team gave up what 8 goals or something like that day. He led in 4, and they pulled him. So
He didn't look good against Vancouver in this last playoffs either.
Yeah.
Jordan Binnington
Oh.
hasn't really had that long of it wouldn't be. He is somebody that it wouldn't be out of the question for me to see fall off. It would make sense that he could just have been a bit of a anomaly because he was an ECHL goalie for how many years? He was 26 or 27 when he came in and won that cup. I mean,
Was he?
That's a crazy accomplishment.
Yeah.
But it would shock me if that could be somebody I could maybe see having
so needless to say, I no longer have Jordan Binnington on my team, and I had to pick up somebody. So I just was like, you know what? He's a good goalie. I picked up Darcy Kemper. So let's hope.
I'm fairly certain I could grab
hope that
it
Arizona does something okay.
Yeah.
Because Kessel has scored a couple times, and Clayton Keller did also score his first game or this last couple days. So my fingers are crossed that they're not complete garbage like we think they're gonna be.
So the current standings right now, I am in first, Nick is in second, and Ben is in third. So
Hell
we're
yeah.
all doing pretty well.
And
Night
Eric,
2,
he's on
I
the
had
bench.
102.9.
No, you had 111 points on the second night.
I would only be
Wow.
20 points behind you if I didn't have my I had 30 points on my bench last night. Fuck.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
Chose the
for sure.
wrong ones. Well, Marner had been asked through his first 2 games, so I didn't put him in, and then I missed out on 20 points from him alone.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, bud.
Great night.
It's unfortunate, bud. Okay, so we actually got a very small amount of Pondy in today.
Yeah.
Story time.
I heard
this
you guys.
this is our story time. I'm gonna throw it to Nick or Eric. If one of you could tell this story to start it off, because my back teeth are floating and I need to go to the bathroom. So start it off, boys.
Alrighty. So, we all got together this weekend, and Eric came up.
Cons me.
Except for Ben, because he's a loser. Anyway,
My
so
work,
we go over to Erin's house Saturday night, and Erin's place has some ponds outside of her apartment, and Mike and I skated on one with Danielle on New Year's Eve. So we're like, yeah, you know what, let's all skate. So Mike and Danielle go out Saturday afternoon, shovel off a nice section of the ice because it was pretty slushy, and it still had some water on it, and we knew it was going to freeze through the night. So we said, you know what, let's not go out tonight. Let's not ruin it. We'll go out this morning, Sunday morning. We get out there, we get all laced up, we get out, we're tooling around for a little bit. And, we took some pictures, and it was a good time. And then I didn't see the guy do it, but some random dude just sneakily takes a picture of us. And, not too long after that, we see this woman driving up to us, and she gets out of her car and she says, do you guys live here? And Erin's like, yeah, I have an apartment here. She's like, well, you guys can't be on this ice. And we're like, okay, why? She's like, there's signs all over the place that say, you can't be on the ice. We're like, okay, sorry, we didn't see any signs. So we were all very cordial, saying, yeah, we'll get off. We're not going to cause any problems. And then she goes on to say, I just got a call from the owner, and he says, if you guys don't get off the ice, we're going to call the cops. We're all talking to ourselves afterwards. None of us were confrontational to this woman. We're like, what the fuck? And fucking Linda.
Yeah, I mean, the entire time, she pulled up and she was like, does one of you live here? And Erin was like, yeah, I do. And she's like, you're not supposed to be no one is supposed to be on the pond or something like that. And we were like, okay. So immediately we all started to move towards where all of our stuff was. And it literally, as soon as she started saying that, I was like, okay, yeah, we're done. So I started moving towards where all of our, everybody started moving towards where the stuff was. And she just continued on with her, it sounded like she was reading us our Miranda rights.
Like, bro, we're getting off. Chill.
Yeah, like we were making our way over there, and the thing was, like, we were talking
We
like
didn't
normally
even question
to
her.
Yeah, we were talking like normal to her. She had like she was doing like the hand megaphone yelling thing, like she was performing for somebody who was watching. And yeah, and then she throws in the line about the police, and I was like, all right, calm down. We're literally getting off right now.
So
But,
then we try to we take our skates off and everything, and we're like, where the fuck are these signs?
Oh my
We
gosh.
found one goddamn sign because I looked down the ice and
There's signs
essentially
everywhere,
across
man.
from Aaron's door, Aaron's garage door, towards the pond was one sign that looks like it probably got put up probably 15 years ago, and it's all super faded and you can't barely read it. And Danielle even said this because she's the one who read it. It's like, you can barely read this fucking thing. Like,
yeah, it was
sorry.
like it's annoying because it's insurance issues. Obviously, it's like insurance and liability and all that jazz. But it's like, come on, man.
Who was
It's like we weren't hurting anything. We weren't bothering anyone.
Yeah,
we didn't
we
have
were really-
nets.
we
We,
were-
didn't have, we weren't taking shots with nets or anything like that. Like, we're just passing some pucks.
We're
around.
really
Who was there
damaging
that
frozen
time?
water.
Who was there that
It was
time we
me
went
and
to
Eric.
the hospital?
We were talking about that today. Yeah,
It
we
was
were
you guys.
so
We-
so yeah,
It
so
was us
so
three.
we laced up, we were skating, and a guy pulled up and he said, "Oh, you can't be here." And then right when we took our skates off, he comes
It was-
back and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, never mind. Sorry
Actually,
about that." We're like,
I think we
all
did.
right."
We did stay for a while more, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that was chill.
and there were alpacas there. For the viewers,
were.
if you go to Plattsburgh and you go
There's-
and skate on the hospital pond, alpacas will be looking at you as you
Yeah,
do
there's a
your
random
dangles.
alpaca.
So be careful.
As you
Alpaca
do your
enclosure
dangles,
near
and
the
they will
hospital.
judge you.
They will.
They will
They will.
judge your dangles.
Yes.
But yeah, so it was nice to get a little bit of Pondy in. Wish it could have been a little more. Also, did you tell him that about the guy that ratted us out?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
like I said, I didn't really see it. All I said was, some random dude just came up, took a secretive picture of us, and then, a few minutes later, fucking, I'm not gonna name drop her again, but
I always did appreciate that. Like, nobody gave a fuck on Hawkins.
On Hawkins, yeah, we never
Yeah.
got
Like-
busted on Hawkins.
Because there was
I
us
mean,
and there was
Hawkins-
lots of other people that did it. Like, it wasn't just us. There was regularly groups that I would see, or like I'd see people out there, or I would see the next day that there's like the ice was all chopped up. Like, people did it all the time. Nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was frustrating. Now we got to find ourselves a new place to play Pondy.
Yeah, where the frig
Yeah.
are we gonna play now? Hawkins, whenever we go back up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta
Let's
check
hope
on it.
that
It's been hella mild up here, so it's been up and down. I don't know. I gotta. Hopefully, we'll get. What is our weather like this week?
Hopefully cold. It's probably gonna warm up now. It was the whole last couple of weeks. It was like teetering on being too warm. It was like 34, 35. And I was like,
Yep.
oh. But yeah, we got actually to
Because it's high. The highest it'll ever get until Friday is 30, and there's several days where it's highs in the 20s, lows in single digits. So actually, by this weekend, I can probably skate
probably do some skating. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
and get on to Hawkins.
Practice your dangles.
Yeah, I still got those 2 little nets here. You can bring one
Because
for
we'll be
myself.
coming for you, Benny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna do something to you.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
an eye on that
jock
little.
strap off.
Keep an eye on that little park there down by the river.
yeah,
See if that
that's a
place
good
ever
one.
Gets any water? Spray down here.
I don't know if they're doing that this
Yeah,
year,
I wouldn't
but
be
I should
surprised
check
if they weren't doing that.
because I don't think they did it all last winter. So
Yeah, I'd like to get us all together for some Pondy.
Fuck are they doing?
Hopefully next year.
the fuck is who doing?
All
The
right,
Saints.
let's talk about this. All right, so Nick's watching the Saints game right now against the Bucks. Apparently, they're doing something bad. Nick's a Saints fan. How what are they?
Great at fucking D-back, the defensive backs, and he got picked off again. He's had such a shitty game. This game, what
Say
is
that-
going on? He doesn't, he throws it at the back of Kamara, and he's not even fucking looking, and he throws it straight into the hands of one of the Bucks defensive backs. Like, what are you doing, dude? You're down by fucking 3 points already.
All I'm gonna say is Tampa Bay is gonna add another trophy, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Breeze has looked like absolute dog shit this game.
That's unfortunate.
Also, we were talking about the Sabres. Hopefully, they'll be good. The Buffalo Bills beat the Ravens yesterday. Congrats to any Buffalo
did. This
fans
is, I think,
looking
the
for
best- best they've
So
done. in a while.
Eric, so
Yeah.
you know how I told you Lamar Jackson went out with a concussion?
Yeah.
So Patrick Mahomes went out with a concussion today.
We
for
saw
the
that.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then his
yeah.
backup converts a 3rd and 15 on the ground.
No
He
way.
went he quarterback
crazy.
ran it and converted it right to save the game. So I'm
Was
like,
that
holy shit.
That's
Was that the
epic.
play call? Was that the play call they were talking about that Reed made? There was some post game interview. They said, "Oh, there was a
No.
play."
So-
oh, okay.
It was right at the end of the game, so I don't remember exactly what it was, but trying to think. There was only a minute left, or there wasn't much left in the game, and typically in that situation that they were in, they were going to try and hard count the defense to try and get them off sides, and they weren't going to call a play. They were going to call a timeout and then probably kick a field goal or something. Anyway, Reed calls a play. The guys in the quarterback's in the shotgun, calls a play, and they convert the first down. Game's over because there's only a minute left at that point. So.
They can just waste the clock.
Yeah, there you go.
So
That's pretty cool.
And I think the other team, Cleveland, had already ran out of their timeouts.
But that means now that the Chiefs will be without Mahomes for next week's game, correct?
Potentially, I don't know.
If he's got a concussion.
I don't know how concussion protocols work in NFL.
How concussed is he?
He's 1 week. He's 1 week concussed. That's it.
So the Chiefs, I believe. Who's the other NFC team?
Not sure.
Jesus Christ. Who else is it? I don't know who the other NFC team is.
Okay.
Not so bad. So bad, man. Okay, never mind.
That's okay.
I was just gonna say, well, at this point, it's looking like the Saints are probably gonna lose this game. So the Bucks are gonna be in. The Packers won. Oh, it's the Packers. So the Bucks will play the Packers next week if the Bucks end up winning this, and then the Chiefs will play the Bills, potentially without Mahomes.
Potentially.
And if the Bills play the Chiefs and they don't have Mahomes, the Bills are gonna fucking steamroll them.
You think so?
Hopefully, yeah. The Bills are good.
Okay.
The Bills are very strangely good this year.
Cool.
Yeah, football.
And now, real quick, let's bring it back to the fastest game on ice. The only game on ice, I think. Curling, I guess. Who are your guys' picks, if you have any, for the Isabel Cup? Who do you want to see take the Isabel Cup?
I don't know
Ooh.
any WHL teams. I'm gonna go with
Buttes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Buttes just because it'd be
Will
fun
you
to see
read the
Kayla
will you
Menigan
read the
win.
names
I
off
like her
again
in
for me?
Plattsburgh.
You have 'em?
Exactly. All right, we got the Boston Pride, the Buffalo Buttes, the Connecticut Whale, the Metropolitan Riveters, the Minnesota Whitecaps, and the Toronto Six.
I like the name Minnesota Whitecap, so I'm gonna go with them.
All right, I like it.
It's just kind of a cool name. If the other one wasn't just singular whale, they would have said Wales. Maybe I would have went with them.
Whalers. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
Oh yeah, continue.
all
Sorry,
I was gonna
sorry.
say, all we can judge on really is names at this point because we just haven't seen any. We haven't seen like any play
yeah.
from them in at all for me. And
I think I might have watched like one
Last-
or two
yeah.
NWHL games in my total lifetime, but
yeah,
I'm gonna go with
Buttes.
what you said, Buttes, just because it'd be cool to see Kayla Menigan win it
it would be.
because she
Okay.
was fun in Plattsburgh.
Cardinals.
But Eric, what are you saying?
So I just real quick. There's 6 teams, right? Because now we have the Toronto Six, right? Who were
Yeah.
just brought into the league. And the past Isabel Cup champs, the Boston Pride have won it, the Buttes have won it, the Riveters have won it, and the Minnesota Whitecaps have won it. So
Interesting.
So Toronto and Connecticut are the only ones who haven't won it.
Wales.
Toronto,
Six.
it would have been hard for them to have.
Yeah. No, but now that they're in there,
yeah.
but I'm gonna go Connecticut because we got Brooke Waleko. She's I don't know if she's the starting goal.
She's
on
a
the well.
goalie.
She
She was
is a
also she
goalie?
was really nice. I interviewed her a few times. She was just a generally nice person and was a pretty good goalie. I think she actually in the year she was with them for 2 years, but one of the years there was like a significant NCAA game that they lost. I don't remember what level, like what stage in the tournament it was. She was the goalie, and she lost, but I think she took the like single game save record for the Cardinals at the time. I don't know if she still has that, but yeah.
Her save percentage or something, we were just looking at this earlier, was
Yeah,
like
it
was like
was
0.96 something.
It was a 9.6 something
Yeah.
that was in Plattsburgh. That was one of the
Yes.
Plattsburgh years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
But she didn't get that much game time, and she had a lot of team support. So
Yeah.
basically all of their goalies have insane stats because
yeah.
that team is insane.
Because the puck never goes in their freaking zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's cool to see those faces in the tournament. There was also my sports editor was mentioning to me the other day. There's a third one. Somebody Newman, I think, and it's another goalie, and she wasn't with Plattsburgh for long. He said that she only played like 2 or 3 games on, but apparently she also played with Clarkson. So interesting.
Okay.
North Country.
Yeah.
Speaking of goalies and records, I'm gonna tell a little story from my high school days. There was one year. It had to be my freshman year. No, it was my sophomore year. And our goalie, our starting goalie was Joey Brown.
Wasn't Danny Burrow?
That man can stop pucks. Danny Burrow cannot.
Joey Brown though. Joey Brown is nuts. Or he was nuts at tending that goal. And we had a we had a playoff game. It was our first time we'd been in the playoffs for a while, I think. And it was against Norwood, and we got lit up, and he ended up with the school's save amount record. Would you care to guess? Could I get some guesses?
Yes.
What are you saying, Eric?
I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna go 73.
Nick?
So are you talking in one game?
Single game save record.
Single game save record?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. If you got 73 shots on you, that's bad. But I know Malone wasn't that awfully great either.
I will say we were not that bad.
Okay. I'm gonna say 52.
Okay.
I am gonna say 63.
I'm pretty sure it was 62. So very close, Ben. Very close.
Yeah.
62 saves. It was
wow.
We were playing some real shite defense.
It's a lot of saves. Reminds me of Holly on our Bantam team that one year.
Yes.
She was throwing up some 60, 70 save games, I think.
I don't think it was that many. We only played 15-minute periods, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been that many.
But it was a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah, we were not the best.
Mr. Crawford did not help as a coach. He was not a good good coach.
No, not a good coach.
Every time a single thing went wrong, he would just scream at everybody and expect things to get better.
Yeah, that was bad.
I liked Mr. Hardy. He was a cool guy.
He was fun. Yeah.
I liked Mr. Campbell. He was fun.
That was good. Yeah, that was a good year. That was just a fun year, just because
fun. Yeah.
We all kind of knew every game we went into where we had
expectations.
We had 7 players total, 6 skaters, was it?
Oh no, we had more than that. We had like But
that would always come because there was like Kyler, and I think that was the year Josh hurt his. Didn't Josh hurt his like ankle early one year?
Or no, Josh was.
No, he was. He was on the team. Okay.
Yeah, he played. We had. I don't know where that sheet went, but we had at least I think we had at least 9 normal skaters that would come.
Sounds high. Anyway,
I mean 9 gives us maybe it was 8. It might have been 8 skaters, giving us 3 on the bench. I'm pretty sure we had 3 on the bench at all times, and it was like we had 1 defenseman and 2 forwards is how we would do it, and Josh would play basically the whole game.
Yeah. Josh. It was rough for him. Although was it because he was fine.
Yeah, he was fine. That dude was so well conditioned. It was insane.
Skate. Fuck.
But the thing was.
Are you kidding me? Sorry.
I don't think the same for
The thing about Josh though is he was such a good skater. He would just skate by everybody with the puck all the way coast to coast, and then he would rip a shot like 5 feet wide.
Shot.
My
There
dude,
were times where I was just like, "Hey, can you just take my shot and then you'll be fine."
my dude could not hit the net most of the time. Oh yeah, fun. Those were
I
fun
was
times.
shot and nothing else, but
You what?
I was shot and nothing else.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Let's wrap this up so Nick can watch his football game.
Not even gonna watch anymore. But Breeze just got picked off again. So
Anyway,
Before we wrap it up,
Yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned this. Keith Yandel, his Iron Man streak continues.
Yes.
he plays tonight. I think he got a goal.
Did he get a
yeah,
goal?
So
After
did
that,
he
Yes.
play that first night?
yes,
tonight's their first game.
tonight's their
right?
first, and he's
Tonight's
playing.
first-
Yeah,
oh,
and he's
playing.
playing. But they just beat Chicago 5-2.
Wow.
Jesus.
Okay.
5-2. So
Okay.
there you go.
Same as the Lightning. So.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm glad I didn't drop
Hmm.
Keith Yandel then.
I think
Yeah.
most teams will beat Chicago. I don't know if that's the most useful comparison.
Yeah. True.
True.
True. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Hit like if you liked it. Hit subscribe if you want to see more. And we're
Drop
finally
any
into the season.
comments.
Keep watching some hockey.
Drop some comments on some things you guys want to see. You want us to talk about. We can
Yeah.
branch out
Or
into the NHL a
tell
little
us
bit more
if
besides
we're
what we talk
being
about.
Fucking annoying, or if something you don't like, or whatever you want to tell us.
Just tell us good things. Tell us good things.
Tell us
and
if,
bad things.
tell us if I need to shut up like 90% of the time. 'Cause I feel like I need to be a little more quiet. But
All right. Peace out, everybody.